Welcome back to the forecast. It is the two casts as of right now. We should have Wilkes coming on here in just a minute. And Doc is back to island Doc, so he's on an island somewhere with his toes in the sand. So hopefully he is enjoying himself. But welcome to the forecast. We review movies, films, documentaries, 4 different ways. 4 different perspectives coming at you every week, Monday, 8:30 Central. And tonight, man, we got a great one for you. It's called Origin. It is on Hulu. It is a film kind of / documentary directed by Ava DuVernay and also starring Aunjanue Ellis. And it really goes into a film. It's a biographical drama, and over the course of the film, Isabel Wilkerson travels throughout Germany, India, and the United States to research the caste system in each country's history. And it is all of that. It's 2 hours long, and it's not one of those, we kind of get into initial thoughts. I know, A-Trap, I know you're doing good, so I'm like I ask you. But unless you're not doing good, unless we need to talk.
I'm good. Yeah, let's hop to it. Let's jump to it.
Yeah. But initial thoughts, man. This was a lot to unpack, but they did it, in 2 hours, and also leaves you wanting to research. And A-Trap, you said this, how and they in the film it talks about how the Nazis got the way that they were going to deal with the Jewish people and the Holocaust. They got that from America. So it really dives into it, and also gives different people's opinions and stories. So honestly, I didn't know what to expect watching the preview of it. But after watching it, I'm like, man, I think this is one of those that everybody needs to watch. It doesn't matter who you are, doesn't matter where you're from. This is something that you definitely need to watch. But initial thoughts.
My initial thoughts is about time. This is a situation to whereas me, how I view the United States of America. I view it as a criminal enterprise. It's a criminal enterprise that has tricked people into this box of crayons. And when you trick people in a box of crayons, whether it be the rainbow, LGBTQIE, or the Black, white, Asian, Latino communities, or whatever you want to do it, it is a capitalistic society, point blank period, in a sense. No one in this society, in the capitalistic society, really cares what you look like. They care what your bank account looks like. Right. And until the Black community, the community we are part of, actually stops and realizes they don't hate you because they're deviants. It's not that because you're Black, they're deviants. And if they can't exploit you, they will destroy you. And once we come to grips with that, then we'll be able to deal with the strife and the stresses that comes along with being a United States citizen.
Right. It's all facts, man. And that's perfect timing with what's going on right now. Obviously, with the election, obviously with that inferiority complex of I'm better than you and you're less than me, and that goes across people, across areas. I mean, and plain and simple, when you see somebody that's homeless, they're not all one race. They're not all from one place. It's everybody. So everybody on all ends of the spectrum. So this film almost brought me to tears. Some of the moments in this was really, really pulled at me. I mean, because she did a great job with the imaging of it. And I think the symphony type music, especially in the high moments and the down moments, Ava DuVernay definitely gets her going to get her a round of applause right now, because she did an amazing job. But it opens up with Trayvon Martin, and immediately I was like, okay, that's Trayvon Martin, or this is something that they're doing it similar to Trayvon Martin, but obviously you could tell the situation. But kind of when we were reviewing Book of Clarence, she put it in a an imagery that we could see and understand, made it relatable. He's talking on the phone with his girlfriend, like, hey, I'm gonna come over, I'm gonna cook you breakfast and do it, and just showing the realness of who this kid was, that a lot of times we don't really get to see that part. So I felt like she did a great job with the opening, and him walking home. Now they didn't show the actual part of it, but later on they played the 911 call, and I was wondering if that was the legit call, if that was a reenactment. But give me your thoughts on that.
I mean, it was most definitely a wonderful situation to where what she did was pulled us into the situation. She got everybody's attention. Quite sure if you watch this and you're not from our community, there's a little bit of eye rolling. Like, here we go again. And then when you watch it, it stirs up emotion. And then if you're in the middle, then you're trying to figure out what's going on. These are the things that need to be talked about. We refuse to talk about these things in the United States of America. That's why they continue to permeate throughout, from border to border, coast to coast, and up until and including the moment we talk about these things, have these conversations, and come to grips with you're in a system in which you are seeing less than. Right. No matter what you have, no matter what you do, you will be less than. Then and only then you can get past this, because as you'll cover later on, you saw people, they tried to get into a trauma Olympics, so to speak. My pain is greater than your pain. So realize what you're up against, and then you move forward. Yeah. So it was great. It was an excellent beginning.
Yeah, definitely. Let me get to the chat real quick. We got a couple of people that was here early before we even started. Omar Phillips, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for dropping by. We appreciate that. And we are live right now on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, or X, and also BS3 TV on Roku. So make sure to subscribe to all of those places. If you have a Roku TV or device, add BS3 TV, just like that, BS, the number 3 TV, and you'll get access to this show and a lot of other great shows on the network. And then the End of the Bench Media, make sure to subscribe to that channel as well. We also have Alvin T. Watkins, man. Sound like a pastor, or right, exactly. Reverend Alvin T, or you can say A.T. Watkins. That's what they do sometimes. Hey, Denise, Milk and Cookies in the building. How you doing? Say good evening.
MC in the building. Good to see you, MC.
Washing the truck and listen. All right, we definitely appreciate that. And I would highly recommend everyone to watch this. Again, it's on Hulu, and I don't know how long it's going to be on there. I think it came out 2023, but this is one of those that you definitely got to watch. I felt like the opening was led you in, like you said, and it kind of opened it up to what this was going to be. And I think John Berthal did a great job. That he played Brett, her husband, and I know him more of as like a action. He's in Punisher. He was in The Walking Dead. But he did a great job. I felt like even though he didn't get a lot of screen time, spoiler alert, he ends up dying. But I feel like in the time he had, he did a good job.
Yeah. He did. He played the role. He did the thing. And I like the representation of him. He was a white man who was not white manning. He was just a husband. He was a neighbor. He was playing the role of a neighbor. He just happened to be white. And this is, again, up until including the moment we start addressing each other as such. There's only one race. That's the human race. And we allow these people at the top to put us in this box of crayons. So now you pick a color and that's your color. These borders don't even exist. Now, don't get me wrong. I am a person who believes in tribal situations. Nature dictates tribe. When you have a group of, like when you watch the Discovery Channel, things of that nature, you have a group of Cape buffalo. They only go so far in every direction because they understand it. But go to this far, they're cheetah there. They're lions. Then you got the rhinoceros areas. You have the lion, the elephant areas. You have a myriad of areas in which you can't venture too far into. And if you go any further, you'll be in danger. Honestly, with the people who are identified as indigenous to North America. You had over 300 different tribes. So we are a tribal people, but these borders have been created so we will adhere to them and understand these borders. Maybe this might step on a few toes, but I got on hard shoes, so you better pull your toes back. These borders were created by deviants and miscreants. This is what happened. The people who created this country were people from when the continent of Europe flushed their toilets, and they sent those people here. So how do you adhere to their rules? So
right. And it was a lot of thievery. Go back and watch one of our beginning episodes, Exterminate All the Brutes. And if it's still on Max, go watch that.
It is.
Okay, good. Go watch that, because it is built on thievery. It is built on distrust and dishonesty and just conniving and scheming and treating people that you wouldn't even treat yourself or your mom or your sister or anybody. What's up, Knox, in the building?
Anthony.
So Aunjanue Ellis, and shout out to her. We've reviewed a couple of things that she's been in. She plays Isabel. This is based off of a true events, a true story. Isabel Wilkerson actually wrote this book, and so it's really based on her navigation through these different countries to really look into caste and what it's about. And actually, Aunjanue and John Berthold were both in King Richard. They had different roles, but they've been in different things together. So they probably already had some chemistry there as far as on screen. So great job to both of them. And immediately, kind of early on, she does a flashback into the German, and it talks kind of a love story with Irma and another gentleman, August and Irma. Irma was Jewish and August was German. So, really, you see that this is not just a black or white thing. This is more of a worldwide thing, and how it transcends different cultures and different locations. So seeing that kind of opening, what was your thoughts on that particular scene? And also I'll say this, they showed that throughout different parts. So it's almost like 3 or 4 different stories kind of in one with people. And I felt like she did a good job with that.
Well, I didn't see it as 3 or 4 different stories. I looked at it as a continuum of hate, the root of hate, how hate is, basically the roots. The people are the roots of hate. But nationalism is the tree, and it bears the fruit of hate. And this is how the hate manifests itself if it is unchecked. And we haven't done anything in the world to check this hate. We just continue to push it into other areas. It was pushed south of Europe, and that's where the hate came on the continent. And then it was pushed east of Europe, and that's where the hate came with the Crusades and Christianity, when people were coming to people's doors telling them, hey, you either gonna pray to my God or I'm gonna kill you.
I'm gonna kill you right now.
Yeah. Went the other direction when the transatlantic slave trade, when they divvied up the world and put their languages throughout the world, and then they start telling lies, and those lies, like the fact that they want us to believe that 20 million people were captured and brought across the ocean at 300 a pop. They still be bringing people over here at 300 a time to 20 million. That means it's not enough people in Europe to have people shipped over here at that rate.
Right.
So you're looking at situations to whereas, for whatever reason, European people have taken it upon themselves to put themselves at the top ranking of this capitalist system, and once they did that, it was a domino effect, and then people, if it's right, it's right, if it's brown, it's down, and we continue to do that to this day. Number 1 selling product on earth, skin bleaching cream.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Number 1 selling product in the world.
All right, let's bring them on. Wilkes, aka Mayhem, aka the chef. What's going on?
Thank you.
Fresh off parole.
Yeah, pretty much. Ankle bracelet and all.
Yeah, man. Good to see you. Glad to have you on. So we just kind of talking about some of the beginnings of Origin, the opening with the Trayvon Martin, and then it gets into the. We already kind of talked about John Berthal and how great of a job I feel like he did in this role.
Yeah, that
so
guy.
Kind of give me your initial thoughts.
Yeah, I really liked the beginning and the opening and kind of having that foreshadowing and where they were leading to, and just listening. Was that the actual 911 call? I don't know if that was.
That's what we were wondering.
That's what we were wondering. That's what I was wondering too. I mean,
felt like it was the actual
legit.
911. Yeah, I felt like it was, but yeah, no, I enjoyed that. I thought the opening was really powerful, and of course, as I'm watching that, it's going through my mind like, how many non-Black people are willing to watch this?
Yeah, facts.
Before they even know what it's leading into. Because like I was telling my wife, and I've said this before, we have so much information on our community, so many documentations and so many movies and so many recreations and reenactments. It's like, are you willing to watch through that? Do you feel like you're being called out? Do you want to be uncomfortable for a time or a period and work through it? Are you willing to do that?
Right.
So I definitely enjoyed the opening. I mean, even the part where they were wrestling and the screaming he was doing for help and just trying to get people's attention. I mean, that right there alone was like crazy.
Yeah.
You know that was Zimmerman screaming though, right?
Zimmerman, but
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it seemed like
Zimmerman screaming. That's not Trayvon. Trayvon,
but it looked like Trayvon was screaming at the point.
No. Zimmerman is the person screaming on that call.
So why do they have it that Trayvon was showing the part that he was screaming?
I was wondering that too, because they had in the scuffle they had Trayvon on the bottom. The reason they shot him because Trayvon was on top of him beating the hell out of him.
But then they made it seem like he was trying to get people outside to help them.
Yeah, he was trying to get people get this little boy, this young punk up off me, man.
Yeah. Oh my
God. That's being nosy.
He was getting beat.
Right.
Well, he claimed he was being UFC fights being.
Yeah, he like just watched them.
Yeah.
Right.
Of course, nobody goes outside, and the lady's like, "Oh, I hear screaming," but you don't go to the window.
Right.
But they
I think that
when women get accosted, they tell them not to scream. They say yell fire because people run at you when you yell fire.
Oh,
yeah,
gosh.
yeah, I've heard that.
Well, that part was still pretty. Like, I'm like, man, this is crazy right now.
Yeah.
Like, what is happening?
And I think no matter how many years passes, this is still raw.
Oh,
this is like
absolutely.
Yeah, like George Floyd is still raw. I mean, it's not. I don't know. I don't think we should ever, and I think also we should never get comfortable with stuff like that. That we should never be like, oh, that was just Trayvon Martin, because I think that diminishes the humanity and the value, of him as a person.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I felt like that was a great opening. Kind of gives you a sense of where it's going, and then we kind of talked about August, who was a German, and then his wife Irma, who was Jewish, and they showed that, which they showed it throughout different parts of the film, which I felt like that was another great job of telling different stories, but showing how they all link together.
Yeah.
And A-Trap, you mentioned this, and I had this down on my notes, like that trauma, just like trauma versus trauma, and nobody wins. Nobody wins in that situation. You trading trauma or talking about whose is worse. It was all bad. It was all horrible. There wasn't no best or worse. I mean, it's not an award. I mean, so when we compare, I think that just ends up hurting feelings at the end of the day.
Yeah, most definitely. But that's what the conversation is designed to do. When you bring up your pain and I bring up my pain, we're not actually listening to each other. What we're doing is outdoing each other. It's a narcissistic point of view. I must tell you about my pain. Forget about your pain. We're not talking about your pain right now. What about me? I'm hurt as well. And when you can only focus on your own hurt, there's a lack of empathy. There's a lack of compassion. Therefore, this problem will never be resolved, because when I tell you, then I stub my toe, you go, I twist my ankle. Then Wilkes go, hey, man, I twisted my knee. We're all in pain.
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
Right.
And mine's not greater than yours. Yeah.
Right, exactly.
It's just like one of the things that has nothing to do with pain. One of the things that when I hear this a lot. I've watched it over my lifetime. When people go, when you're having a horrible day, and I start venting to you guys, and then one of the people goes, "Hey man, it's a lot of people well off, worse off than you. You shouldn't complain. Are you outside your mind? Just because I broke my leg and somebody dying of COVID, and somebody got cancer, somebody dying of AIDS, that don't heal my leg. I'm in pain."
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So yeah, I ain't gonna die, but my leg is broken and I'm hurting right now. I need you to empathize with me, and that, in my personal opinion, is where the disconnect lies, because no one can say, "Hey man, I wish I could do something about your leg," or "Can I take you to the hospital?" or "Can I take you to the emergency room?" Sometimes you just need to let it out. And then when people don't care, or there's a lack of empathy, they have to let you know what somebody else is going through. And it's like, you almost want to go, screw them. My leg is broke. But then that makes you the same person that they are.
Right. That makes you insensitive. And I think too, sometimes people don't know what to say. And sometimes you don't need to say anything. Sometimes they just need you there. And when you talk about Isabel in this film, with her mother passing, with her cousin passing, with her husband passing, she just got to the point where she just wanted somebody to give her a hug. I mean, because she was losing so many people.
Yeah.
But yeah, the trauma battle, nobody's winning right there. You just gotta be there for the person.
Yeah, nobody's exempt from that.
Right, exactly. And I felt like our parents had it the worst, man. They people starving in Africa. You would eat this food.
Yeah.
This little bump on the elbow. I had to walk 20 miles to school and all that kind of stuff.
Both ways, uphill, both ways.
Right, uphill. Yeah, and I was pushing the sled with my books on it.
Yeah. Books wet when you got to school. Yeah.
Right.
The Ziploc bag.
Yeah.
That trauma guilt.
Ziploc. Oh, that costs 50 cents more. We get more those Ziploc.
Right. Back in my day. Yeah. What's up, Worker Park in the building? Thank you for tuning in. Changed up the Abby photo. I like that. I like that. Yeah. Just Joe. Man, we haven't seen you in a minute, Just Joe. Good to see you. Said what's good, fellas. Got my ears on. We appreciate that.
We hope you look funny without them.
Yeah, we all would. Shout out to Sonny Cole. He liked the show on Facebook. We appreciate that. Appreciate your continued support. A lot of the shows on BSP Network, I see your interaction and your likes and shares, so we appreciate that very much. Just Joe laughing. And I felt like this showed different generations. When it came to the mom, her response was to Trayvon Martin, we're not supposed to intimidate whites, and we supposed to walk around, and that was that generation. And she was giving her opinion, but that it gave you different areas of how people see and perceive race and racism. So Wilkes, you want to talk about the mom and her kind of response?
Well, you know what? I think I've mentioned this before, and when I saw her response, I thought about my grandfather. And even when what I was watching when what was going on with George Floyd, and I'm gonna try to tie this in the best I can. When I saw what was happening to George Floyd, my mind didn't immediately go, "Man, that's racist." My brain went, "Man, that don't look good."
Yeah.
Because the thing is that how many times have we been here in this spot, and this just does not look good? And sure enough, nothing good came of it.
Right.
So to her point, when I was watching that scene where they were talking about her, and she was saying like, you can't do anything that's going to draw attention and look out of place.
Yeah.
My grandfather always said, you cannot win in the streets with these police officers. And I understand it's a new breed of generations today. I'm not my grandparents. I'm not my great-grand, whatever it is. But I always hear what my grandfather said. You're not going to win out there. Mm-mm. Keep your mouth closed. If you feel like there is some disorder at certain points, yes. But I think he's talking about, hey, if you make it alive down to the station or wherever they're taking you, you need to live to fight another day. Because if not, you may not even live to get there. You might not even make it home. So when I was watching that and just listening to what she was saying, it was like, yeah, hell, you know what? Even I do it today. When I go to my mom's job and she works at a daycare, I don't want to look like the creepy pedophile. Why is this man parked in front of the kids? Mom, will you please stop asking me to go to your job? I just don't want to look like whatever. You know, it's like it's in the back of your mind because it's like, who is this guy waiting on? Why is he parked in front of the kids' playground? Like what? Like, Mom, please come get this, whatever it is you need to get, because I just don't want to have that appearance and give somebody a reason. But it's just like, I don't want to look like the creep.
I want to look sticky.
Yeah, I don't want to look. You know, next thing you know, I got Louisville police rolling up on me like, hey, man.
Right. Yeah. Excuse me, sir. What you doing outside, sir?
Yeah, absolutely. So I mean, I understood what she was saying because it was instilled in her generation.
Yeah.
I just got an image of you like a man sweating.
Yeah, man. You look nervous.
Looking out of the window like, hey, come here.
Yeah, hey, quick. Yeah.
Come here.
So yeah, I mean, I understood it completely what she was talking. Her generation, it was instilled. Like even with the conversation she was having later with the lady talking about, you look me in my eyes when you're talking to me.
Yeah.
Or don't look me in my either. It could have went either way.
Right.
So it's like one of those things where it's like it's instilled in those generations.
Yeah.
I mean, you can look at
it was passed down.
You can look at other movies, and if they don't say sir, the officer's gonna be, excuse me, what's that, boy? What did she say? You know, it's like, oh, she didn't mean no, or he didn't mean no harm. It's just one of those things that's passed down. So in her mind, it's like, man, it's not Trayvon's fault, but he should have known you can't walk through a white neighborhood with the hood up and look suspicious and you black. But in Trayvon's mind, he's like, we should be past this. Why do I have to worry about that?
Right. And so we're talking about generations that this story and this mindset has to be passed down to where A-Trap's telling his son this, Wilkes is telling his son this, I'm telling my daughter this on a different way. I mean, it's all just
Here's the crazy thing, and I'm gonna share this, and this happened in 2020, and I let the floor be open. I had a friend of ours that was talking about, and I told him, and I said, Steve, I was like, hey, we can't have this conversation at our dinner table. These conversations are different in your household versus my household. That's why I said I'll never forget what my grandfather had always said. Even my grandma didn't have to say it because my grandfather was always saying it.
Yeah.
And it was one of those things where they come back with, oh, well, that just means you were raised, we have those conversations too in our family. No, you don't. I promise you don't. Yeah. I promise you don't have that same conversation.
No.
Yeah, no.
Not to the degree.
Not to that degree, yeah.
I know you don't.
Yeah.
Because my color, my race, my background, my ethnic is not your color, not your race, not your I know you're not having that conversation.
Yeah.
I know you're not.
Hey,
I was raised with that conversation.
Right. And a prime example, again, going back to the Caste, there's a documentary on Netflix. I think it's on multiple, but it's about the Murdoch family.
Yeah.
And basically this kid was a teenager, got in multiple bad situations. All he had to do was call his uncle or somebody. No. They came and picked him up, and everybody else was still there, and they squashed everything.
Of course.
So again, it goes back to the cat. If your dad's the judge of this small town in Mississippi, you can be good.
How about this? 2015, 2017, young lady is being sexually assaulted at a dumpster by a guy on the swim team at Stanford University. He is caught in the act. And the judge said, hey, he's at Stanford. I was there. He was on the swim team. I was on the swim team. I don't want to ruin this guy's future. You go home.
Yeah. Scot free.
Come on, man.
Yeah. And spoiler alert, George Zimmerman got off.
Right. And then got jailed again for drunk driving.
Yeah. And then was abusing his wife.
Yeah.
And then was in a road rage situation.
Right.
So was it Trayvon Martin or was it George Zimmerman's attitude and behavior? Come on, man. Like, yeah.
Yeah, I think it was Trayvon, man.
Calling you up, man.
And then they went into early on. They showed a little bit of the anthropologist that was in 1923, and then later on they got into that, and I felt like that's a book I need to read. It's called Deep South: A Social Anthropological Study of Caste and Class, and
it also
going undercover.
Yeah, and real quick, it also, of course, I have a book downstairs, and A-Trap has heard me mention this. I think it's The Origin of a Species with Charles Darwin. And I'm just like, yeah, thanks, Charles, because it wasn't any words of white and black until he started coming along and putting this structure in place. It was like, stop, man. So, yeah. So Origin of a Species is a good one, too. But I feel like, yes, I need to own this one as well.
Yeah. They had Niecy Nash in it. She was the Miriam. She was the cousin. And then they had Nick Offerman. I was waiting for him to tell a joke because Nick Offerman, man, is a straight comedian. I think of him from Community. I know he's been in some other stuff, but he played a plumber. And so I'm watching this. I was watching part of this on my phone, and I'm like, does he have a MAGA hat on? And then when he kind of turns and you see it. So like she was hitting this at all angles. And I think at that point, Aunjanue or Isabel was so, with the death of her, with her husband, I don't think her mom passed at that point too. I think she was really trying to figure out, is it racism? What's race? What's segregation? What's the caste? And she was trying to put it all together because I think maybe they did that scene, and I'll get you guys' thoughts on why they put that in there. Maybe that was like her opportunity to, I know we probably politically we don't agree, but I'm going to talk to you like you're human, and I'm going to ask you about what's going on.
And that's what it comes down to.
Yeah.
But go ahead. I think A-Trap me.
Oh no! I was like, yeah, I'm just going. I'm good. Finish what you were saying.
Oh, I was just really kind of going off what Ben was saying. I think that's exactly what it is. It's like when you move the politics around and get that.
I'm talking about the update. I'll be right back.
Okay.
I got an auto update.
I got you.
Cool.
So what happens there is, I think once you move past that and you realize, man, you know what, we have other things in common. It may not be political, it may not be religious, but at the end of the day, oh yeah, hey, I lost my mom, or I lost my dad, or whatever it is, and you can talk about those things. And at that point, it's like you can leave the politics out of it, because now it's just a human natural reaction. I mean, she looked like she didn't really want to engage, because she was just like, now look at this guy in my house with that hat on.
Right, exactly. You had to come in here with this hat on? Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, she was probably thinking about, what would my mom say if she saw this?
Right.
What would my dad say? Whatever the case is, or what my relatives would say. But at the end of the day, I think she was assessing the situation. I mean, she got him to open up, got him to talk, and changed his mind about doing the repair. And even, because at first he wasn't looking at anything. He was just making notes or making the bill, like if he was even writing anything.
Right.
And I think he also realized, you know what? She was willing to talk to me, even though I'm wearing this hat, because that's what it is at the end of the day. And
conversation.
I mean, it's like not to make it a religious thing tonight, I guess, but Jesus was the same way. It was just like, I'm here. I'm in this crowd. You may have just murdered somebody last night. You're over here, doing your thing and sinning and taking money off the top, doing taxes, whatever the case is. He surrounded himself with those that society may have seen as lesser, gamblers, dirty, whatever it is. Yeah. But at the end of the day, he knew once all that layer was removed, once we removed those layers, hey, what you dealing with? What you got going on? We're human.
Right.
Yeah, we put on these hats, rep customer service and CEO and pastor and husband, son. But at the end of the day, when all that stuff is broken down and you're in your alone time, you're in that quiet hour, that's when you're vulnerable. That's when you're just a human.
Right.
And all those things fall away. And then at the end of the day, it's like you're left with your silence, you're left with your thoughts. And those are the moments that make you human. Right. Yeah, just because you put on certain things, that's not who you are when you put those things on. When you take all that off, you're just that human, you're just that vulnerable, and we can conversate.
Yeah.
I like that scene. I thought that scene was needed.
Yeah, and he didn't really have a lot of other. I don't know if he had any other scenes after that. So
no, that was really just it. Yeah,
that was a part of her journey. I mean, obviously with the deaths we already talked about, but she had to interact with different people to be able to put the story together. So her life was basically putting the story together, and then obviously her traveling to Germany and India helped her piece these things together. But I felt like that was a needed scene.
Yeah, and it was definitely a scene where it was like, okay, I'm gonna engage this person and pick his brain.
Right.
Kinda. I'm gonna make him open up. I'm picking him as much as I don't really want to do this, but I mean, you can see it on her face. It was all kinds of things were going through her mind. Right. Now, why does fool come in my house with this hat on? And he go to work like this wearing this hat?
Right.
Stuff like that, but it was just, it's one of those things where it's like, I have to engage because I can tell he feels uncomfortable. Right. He's not even looking at anything. He's not trying to assess the damage. You're already ready to bill me and write out a bill, an invoice.
Right, an invoice.
You haven't even looked at it.
Right, true. Yeah, anything you wanted to add on that, HR?
Oh yeah, I really appreciated that too, because it gives you a perfect example of Black life in America. This is what we live with. We have to go to work and deal with microaggressions. A MAGA hat. You go to work, see a MAGA hat. What you gonna do? You don't do anything. If you went into your supervisor, your manager, the district manager, or the owner's office, and he had a MAGA hat, that's really a shot at you. And he knows it. I'm not that person. I just support racism. Okay, cool. So this is what you have to deal with. This is the problem with America today. 1965, the Civil Rights Act made racism illegal. 2016, Donald Trump made it legal again.
Yeah.
Unofficially,
yeah. Well, you're right. Yeah, you definitely spot on with that. Then it kind of goes into the meeting that she had, where a party or something she was going to, and Wilkes, you mentioned a painting that when she was walking up the steps, and she kind of had to fix her face. Like, how many times have our parents said, "Fix your face before we go into this church, or the store, or this whatever"?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, but talk about that painting that when she was walking.
Yeah, I love how Ava DuVernay. I love how she brought that as a kind of a focal point, because it's about Edward, the Black Prince, and he was one that was supposed to, so revered, but he was also feared. I mean, it was also a symbol of, I've got this power, but I will take this power and I will abuse it. I will force my beliefs upon you if you don't fall in place. So just seeing that huge painting in the background, when I recognized it, I was kind of like, man, I love the subtleties of how she's putting these small nuances into place. Of course, I don't consider myself a student of history, but I do love it. I enjoy it. And I'm sure I'm always open to learn more, but just seeing that painting and just how she even dwarfed how tall they are and made that painting bigger than them. It was just like, oh man, this is crazy. And Prince Edward at the time, I mean, even, he was kind of just kind of filling in for, I believe, Prince Henry that was getting sick or something had happened at that time by Prince, maybe Henry II, but I can't remember all the information. But just seeing him at that battle and that fallen king that he had slayed, it was just one of those things where it's like, man, she's battling against this certain thing that's trying to construct a class, trying to construct this pyramid of pretty much, I'm up here and the rest of you down here need to do what I need you to do. That painting was saying a lot pretty much about what she was dealing with, and like why nobody is really talking about it. And it was interesting to see that. I love to see that painting there. And it was just like, when I saw it, I was like, oh my gosh, it's crazy. Because that was the focus at first. And then, of course, here comes the conversation. Well, I really don't know how that connects.
Right. And that's just like us trying to explain Juneteenth to somebody that doesn't know what it is. That's us trying to explain what our culture is and what the picnic is and what the family reunions. That's basically what that was. That's what I took that as, her trying to explain what's going on in her mind, and people are just like, I don't get it. That doesn't make any sense.
You're not trying to get it.
Right.
Because you're not willing to turn off what you think because you believe this. If I stop believing this, then I've got nothing else to live for. Yeah, you do. If you just turn it off for a minute and just listen and absorb it and say, you know what, this is something important to this person that they're going to this great length of doing, that I'm going to listen. And then I'm going to find out, you know what, maybe I am a little prejudiced. Maybe I am a little racist. Maybe I wasn't listening. Maybe I was trying to block it out and act like it didn't exist. Right. Yeah, it makes you uncomfortable. Listen to it, because I'm not just crazy. I'm not just making this stuff up.
Right. Exactly.
No one wants to listen, though. If you really think about it, no one wants to listen. Because if you listen, then you have to change. And you change, that might be a change of power. You have a change of power. You might put yourself in the ground. Who wants to volunteer to go lay on the ground? No one. So this is why this is why we always have this issue until people get to the point where they want to deal with the issues, not defend themselves or defend their culture.
Right.
You know, you wouldn't, if I got hit by a bus, it doesn't make a difference if I was drunk or not.
Right.
I got hit by a bus. Let's talk about the bus striking me on the ground, not the fact that, hey, you were intoxicated. Or you were standing on the corner naked.
You deserve to be hit by that bus.
Right. Let's talk about the crime itself. That's not defend the person's right to drive a bus. Right. Because that's not the problem. Him driving the bus isn't the problem. Him driving the bus into my physical form, that's the problem. Let's get that out the way before we address anything. And we refuse to do that. It's a culture in the United States of America.
Yeah. And the point was when she said there's a professor, a Dalit that's a professor, or maybe said a professor that's a Dalit or something. It was like a Dalit professor. Like they weren't even listening to how she was saying it and in the tone and the how she was trying to present it to them. And I mean they knew that she was excited about it, but they were like, nah, this not gonna work. And even when they went to, I think one of the ladies was at that party, and then when she went to Germany, I think that was the same lady. She went to their house, and she was breaking it down even more, and she didn't see it. And that again, going back to that comparing trauma. Well, this was the Holocaust, and this is slavery. It was different, and
you're right. It is different.
Yeah,
but guess what? If only 6 million of us had died.
Right.
We would take that.
Yeah.
Right. And when she broke it down,
walking around America today with those tattoos on it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the numbers. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And how she broke it down and basically saying that it diminished the person. And this wasn't just there's not even a number we can come up with. There's not a number we can say, oh, it was this many people. And then you talk about Jim Crow, and you talk about all the segregation that happened after that.
Yeah, and then and like I've said before, and A-Trap has said this, where do you think Hitler learned it from?
Exactly.
I mean, American playbook.
Right.
Oh man, and even then, before that, America was like, "Oh well, this is what the Romans did." Oh wait a minute, hold on, wait a minute. This is what maybe the Manders did. Oh well, we gonna take. Trust me.
Yeah, it worked.
Yeah.
Right.
Right. It was successful. And even when they had the meeting with the audio, and she did a great job reenacting that, because I'm sure that's what it looked like. Like, hey, this works for them, and we already know that there's a separation.
Here's the crazy thing about that is that whenever something is going on in the world, whether it's coming up in Germany, parts of Asia, Japan, they always say, well, this is what the West is doing.
Yeah.
This is what the U.S. is doing.
Right.
It always goes back to the United States.
Right.
The West.
Yep.
The
dirtiness. Yeah.
You're world power. You're the leader of the world axis. I mean, people are watching. If it worked for them, it's surely. How can we amplify it?
On a smaller group.
Right. And they said, like, point blank, like, we know that the Negroes are the ones that are less than there, and we already see the Jewish is less than. So all we have to do is just implement this system. I mean, then they end up changing the laws, just like what happened here.
Right.
So it makes sense.
I mean, she even saw a Jim Crow comparison.
Right. Yep.
When she was reading.
Yeah.
I mean,
come on, man.
It just takes me back to, we continue to fall for the banana in the tailpipe. We continue to do this race thing. It's not even a thing. We continue to have that conversation. Now it's the migrants. Before them, it was the gays. Then it was the blacks. Then, and it's just a cyclical.
Gotta find somebody.
Japanese.
At some point, you're gonna have to stop and say, "Yeah, my name is."
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And to your point, I mentioned that yesterday about the Japanese. As soon as Pearl Harbor happened, come those camps. Come them camps. Get them in the camps. Get them in the cages.
Yeah. What's up, CJ? Yeah,
And
what did Trump say last week? Let's just bring them on here and put them in cages. Let's have them fight. He said, let's have them fight a UFC fighter for their freedom.
Trump is
that's y'all man stuff.
Clown.
Trump is here's the problem. Here's the thing I don't have a problem with Trump is because he's a troll.
Exactly.
He's starting to learn that he's a troll.
Exactly. And people love it.
He keeps spewing enough of that out there because he knows it's going to get him on TV. It's going to get him on that interview. It's going to get him in rallies. That man will say whatever it is to stay relevant in the media because he loves media time. He loves the camera. That's what he loves.
Yeah.
He's a troll. That's what he does. And he knows it. Whether he knows to a degree, but he's not stupid. And he knows.
Right.
If I say something outlandish, this is what's happening.
Let's not get carried away. He might be stupid. He's just good at this. He's stupid to a degree, but he ain't that stupid.
Yeah. And like I was telling my wife, like she was like, "Yeah, I'm looking forward to this debate." I'm like, "Why?
Why?
He's going to embarrass Biden just by that's his stage.
Absolutely.
The stuff he does that in press conferences and all that stuff, that's different. When it comes to debate time, he will just embarrass you and make you look stupid.
Even when he was running in 2016 and all those people were on stage, he's like, most of the people on here had borrowed money from me. Nobody said a word.
Yeah, when he got on Jeb Bush, man, Jeb Bush got in the car and cried, man.
That was his punching bag, man. Come on,
He got in the car and cried, okay?
Paid that dude to be a punching bag. Hey, Jeb, I'm going to punch you a little bit tonight. Here's $2 million. Go on and dial it in, man.
Hey, CJ said, don't let this distract y'all that Klay Thompson went 0 for 10 in a crucial game. Hey, man, it's a change of scenery, man.
Don't let that distract you that Klay Thompson was out with an ACL injury too. So that's also.
Hey, Klay is a step up from what they had before.
Come see Klay. Come see Klay. Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, that's Dallas area people. You know that.
Yeah, man. They're gonna have to get a new billboard, man.
Right. Exactly. Have them standing next to a Mitsubishi Galant.
Yeah, they're gonna have both of them up there. Come see Klay. Which one?
Right. Hey, that's a perfect advertiser right there.
Oh, don't worry. It's coming.
Yeah.
Remember I said it.
Yeah. Now go ahead.
No, I'm just posing.
Now, I think the difference between this and last week, because I know last week I said I didn't like all the jumping around. To me, this one was more of it was more smooth. You kind of knew where they were going. Last week, man, it was like 1974, 1967, 1989. I'm like, what are we doing? And it was gimmicky, but we did that last week. We own this week, but the flashback to when she met her husband kind of gave you that backstory, which I feel like that kind of showed how he was like A-Trap, like you said. He wasn't. I'm not coming over here to try to save you in a way to embarrass you, but I'm coming over here to basically show like, hey, you being disrespectful, and I'm gonna invite you over for a piece of cake.
How about them cheeks? That's what he came up.
How about that game? He was coming with it. And he sounded like he was from New Orleans or something. The way he was, his cadence.
I think he is in real life. So I think he just has that. I think he is
kind of got that. Yeah.
He just has that cadence.
Yeah. But the fact him carrying the mom, I mean, and anybody that's married, if you have a somewhat good relationship with your in-laws, I mean that does wonders, because if you don't, then like you don't want to be around them, and it causes more issues. So they had it seems like they had a great relationship. He ends up passing while they end up having a little bit of an argument, and later on she kind of flashes back, and I think that's one of those things that you just hate, if and it can be a friend, family, or whoever. You don't want that argument to be the last time that you talk to them.
And he showed no signs of being healed. Yeah. Just a heart attack, maybe, because he showed no signs.
Yeah, some of that pasta, and he was like, this ain't it.
This ain't it, man.
It's the big one.
Yeah, the pasta got grapes in it, man.
I'm done.
There's some raisins in the pasta.
Raisins in the panini, man. I don't want this. Get out of here, man. I don't want this, man. Are you kidding me, man? What's this?
Man, hey, you went off screen on that one. I was
this dude said there's raisins in a panini. I bought some raisins today too.
Hey, raisins are good for you, just not in potato salad.
It's not. They just don't mix with pasta and potatoes, man.
Right, exactly. Stop.
I'm trying it tomorrow.
You can have it at the work picnic.
Yeah.
And side note, we had somebody that made some chicken salad, and they had corn and potatoes in it. It was different. It was different, but this person is also different. Well, me and Wilkes know
very, very different.
But the corn had an okay taste, and I'm like, okay, is this potatoes in here? That's a little off.
It was like
she made 3 different kinds. So
I think I got 2 of the
corn and the corned beef.
It was, I don't know. It was like playing poker with or playing spades with potato salad. I don't know what was happening. I got
what's going on here?
I got a 3 and a possible. I don't know how many books, but
yeah. And now I felt like this had a lot of cultural moments. They were at the picnic. And somebody was like, "Yeah, when the food is done," I think they were playing dominoes and spades.
Yeah.
And they're like, I know this guy. He's black. He's a little bit older. I'm like, you are not presenting this well.
Yeah, you're not doing great.
You need to get with a black man.
Right. She's not doing great.
And you'll like him. He's black.
Right.
Yeah.
He's about your age or a little bit older.
Right. Striking out, man.
Or his age.
He said corn and potatoes. Nah, he murdered or something. It was a female, so no. But I don't know if you're talking about the movie or the
No, you know what? Yeah, you heard what he said. You read what he said. Yeah, he's talking about that coworker.
Nah, it's a female.
But
yeah, she is off though.
His comment still stands.
Yes, still true. Still true.
See Jilla.
Yeah. Keep it 1,000. Also, make sure to subscribe to Plays by CJ. But like I always say, do not watch it at work. Do not have the volume up, or you will get fired on the spot.
Ain't gonna go well.
Yeah. The Miss Hale story, and I felt like what this did is told different stories where you didn't know if it was that person. That could have been her personal story. That could have been an acting, but it told stories that were relatable, that we've either seen, heard, or our parents have told us, or somebody have told us. And her name was actually Miss Hale, but the principal was like, "What is your first name?" She was Miss. Again, I'm gonna ask you, girl, what's your first name? So I mean, it's just, and then you go back to the paperwork and you see that was her first name.
Right. It's like, I'm not joking. I'm not kidding.
Yeah, like, why would I lie? What's the point of me, a kid, lying to you, an adult? Now, was the teacher white or black when they were telling that story?
It felt like I think she was more surprised that it was another black person. I thought that's what I got from it.
Yeah, that's what I was getting from it too. I had to rewind it back to listen in. But
I think she was more taken back because of like, man, we fighting the same fight.
Right.
Really?
Exactly.
But he's putting on. So we're not really fighting the same fight. You're making trouble. Because just like we've heard about Martin Luther King when we watch some things where he's been in or just information, black people were like, man, you making trouble for us. This is what you want to do?
Like when he hit old boy in the chest and come to America. I thought you were somebody else.
Yeah, I'm sorry, my bad.
Hey, one of the greatest stories ever told, man. The greatest story ever told.
I punched this dude in the chest. I looked up, it was Muhammad Ali. I mean, my bad. Somebody else.
My bad.
Eddie was in a league of his own, man.
Oh yes.
Now, in perfect segue, next week, Beverly Hills Cop.
I'm worried, but I hope it's
Axel
good.
F. I am extremely worried because I watched the preview and I didn't laugh at all.
I'm disappointed that the world ain't mad at him because his daughter's in this movie.
Yeah, she's getting she's arresting him. She's a cop.
Yeah, the cop that had him on the car, that's his daughter, Bria.
Is that the same one that was in Coming to America too?
His daughter was no. I don't know.
His older daughter, his oldest daughter was in that one. Well, I don't know if it's his oldest
and he said his son-in-law's in this one too.
He got a gang of kids, so I don't know.
Yeah, who knows what he said?
You should hear him interview about his children. It's hilarious.
I'm sure. Yeah, it's out on Wednesday.
Yeah.
I'm worried about it.
Got some of the old actors in it. I don't know, man. If anybody can pull it off, though, it would be him.
Yeah. But which, in other words, is kind of like you tried it with Metro, and Metro was. It's like you were trying to off the heels of what Beverly Hills Cop 3 it was. It was just like Metro, man. Like, come on, man, stop.
You heartbroken? You heartbroken, A-Trap?
Yeah, man, because I actually like Metro. I'm not telling you, it's not like Pootie Tang.
Right. It may have been one of those under the radar movies because people were looking for Axel Foley. I think that's
they were looking for Axel Foley, and they're just if you watch it today, you'll go, that's a 3, 2.5, 3.
Yeah.
And like I said, I think that's what people were looking for. They were trying to recatch that Beverly Hills Cop. That they were trying to, kind of harness that again. But I didn't think it was too terrible.
Yeah, I hear you, CJ. I agree. The remakes are getting out of hand. Like they were doing Beetlejuice. It's hard to recreate the chemistry that you had. It's hard to do it, especially when it was one film.
And they're trying
20 years later, you try to do the same thing.
Yeah. But the thing about remakes, there's some remakes that we're not old enough to know they're remakes.
Well, true.
For example,
there's a few. Yeah.
Man on Fire is a remake.
Yeah.
Most people don't know it.
Was that I feel like that was
remake.
Was that Paul Newman? Man on Fire? I feel like that was somebody well known.
Dakota Fanning. And Denzel, famous actors. I can't think of their names.
Yeah.
But I think too, a lot of our kids now are into the nostalgia. So they're kind of using this as they're using this as a stream bait. They want you to go back and watch the first one, which is gonna run those numbers up. Yeah. And then whatever numbers they give to this one, it's they're playing the numbers game. Huh?
Yeah, just don't watch 3.
Watch 3.
Just like with Bad Boys. Bad Boys just came out with another one. I think this is 4. And they put 1, 2, and 3 up on streaming so you can catch up.
Right.
So
I heard it was pretty good though.
It was.
Yeah,
I wasn't very high on it, but it was good.
Well, they say because now it's becoming its own Fast and the Furious universe.
But I think they're done. I think they're done after this. You can't.
I hope so.
Martin. Okay, let's go ahead and just say this. Martin is he okay? Yes, but does he need our prayers? Also, yes. He got something that's going on. I don't know what it is. Maybe he's on some type of medication or something. But
in the interview, man, people think I had a stroke. You acting like
it. Right?
Is he coming back? He said he was doing a tour.
He on tour right now.
I thought
he's coming to Dallas sometime in the near future. Yeah, I hope so for Martin's health. Yeah, I mean, he's going on tour, so it's not like he's slowing down, unless he's not doing he's breaking the shows up. But it sounds like he's gonna have other comedians coming along. But hey, Martin is still Martin. He has some funny lines in it. He did his thing. Will Smith, everybody kind of forgot about the slap. The slap is now in the past.
Clearly, you don't watch. You're not a Stephen A. Smither.
No, I'm not.
It's always it's like you find a way to move past because you're caught with the it's Will Smith. Oh wow, it's David Beckham. Whatever whatever it is. He's forgiving.
Right. So I felt like when she went to India, that's when it kind of went into the more documentary piece, and I felt like she wasn't even acting.
Yeah,
I felt like that was more just the raw emotion that she was dealing with.
Yeah,
I don't know if y'all agree.
Yeah. Well, that's when she started talking about Martin Luther King.
Right. Yeah.
I wonder why nobody asked him why he hit Clarence in the chest like that.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were somebody else.
I mean, and talking about the Dalits, and I mean, just showing them cleaning out basically a shit trough.
That's a lot of cleaning, my man.
Like that is I don't know. That imagery was heartbreaking.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no other way to put it. Like no human should be doing that with nothing besides gel or oil that they're putting on. And that's
ain't enough oil in the world, my man.
Nah.
Ain't enough oil in the world.
Nah.
Nah, man.
And the same thing goes on today.
Sad thing is, they're capturing people from other countries to do it.
Oh, of course. Absolutely. You better believe it. 100%.
Yeah. So that was heartbreaking to see that. Had some audio of Martin Luther King talking about it and how he went and visited and he was called an untouchable, which I haven't heard that audio before. So that was a first for me. But who better would be connected to that?
I think I remember the travels, but I don't remember like any speeches from it, I guess I could say. But I do remember the travels, but that's really the extent.
That's what a brief history lesson. That's when they came. That's what Martin Luther King became on the radar for the Federal Bureau of Investigation, the CIA. Simply because before he went there, he was in I want to say Ghana with Ubuntu. No, he was in the Congo with Ubuntu. He was at his inauguration.
Yeah.
So that's when he became. Hold it. What you doing over here? Because they ran into Nixon. The story is he ran into Nixon over there. Nixon's like, "What you doing over here? Talking about Willie, right? Like, what is this?" But look, listen how ironic that is. You have a white man asking a black man in Africa, "What you doing over here, man?"
Yeah, what you doing over here?
Yeah.
Exactly. No, what you doing over here? What's your mission? Yeah, what's your mission and plan over here? You're not over here to say hi.
Exactly.
Yeah, what you doing over here? Yeah, that's wild. That's wild. But she was really able to draw the caste system and relate it to what was going on in America, obviously with the slaves and Toni Morrison. That was a great quote by Toni Morrison. Why would you give your kids to animals? Like if you think we're animals, why am I watching little Johnny while you out doing whatever you're doing? Why am I feeding and clothing them and bathing them, teaching them how to bathe? Why am I doing all this stuff? Exactly.
Correction. Why am I bathing him nude?
Oh, absolutely. Looking at me as I'm bathing your child or bathing your in-law or somebody.
Weird.
Yeah. Or even better question, why am I breastfeeding you?
Right.
Yep, I'm breastfeeding your child. Absolutely.
Right. Exactly. So it goes back to the caste system, which they explained is basically you have a hierarchy, a pyramid, if you will, with the wealthy at the top, the ones that are not as wealthy, not as able to do.
Unfortunately, it's kind of like what I said today. Everybody can't be king. Everybody can't be queen. What's up, my king? No, stop. Stop. Because somebody got to tend to
the they got no employees.
Somebody got to tend. Somebody got to tend to the kids. Somebody got to teach.
Right.
Somebody got to tend to the sick and shut in and the famine and everybody can't be king, queen, man. Stop it.
Right. Yes. Right. Nah, facts. And while she's over there, her cousin ends up passing, and she had to talk to her on the phone. I mean, that was another heartbreaking moment. Like when I seen her coughing, I'm like, nah, please don't die.
Yeah.
But like, I think that was just, you're on a journey, and you're gonna have roadblocks. You're gonna have things that are gonna be put in your way. You're gonna have distractions. Right. And you're gonna have these things that are gonna try to deter you. But even her cousin was like, "You gotta go. Like you can't stay here. You are on a mission bigger than me." Is pretty much what she was saying. Even though it was hard to do it, and you telling your cousin goodbye over the phone. I mean, but it's hard. But she did what was needed, and I think really going to India really put the kind of the icing on the cake about the caste system and how it operates. And I think talking to the different people over there really gave her that information she needed, and she came back into finishing it. But the other one that almost had me in tears was the kid Al Bright. That one, kids outside laying on a mat and then he said, "You can't get in the water. Right. We got to disinfect it." I'm like,
don't you touch
y'all
that
hell
water.
of a lot dirtier than me, and you worried about me getting in the water.
Right.
When it's like 50 y'all in the water, like little old me is not about to make this dirtier. It's just.
I've heard the Black Eagle talk about that moment.
Yeah.
And talk about this moment. Yeah, it's crazy.
But when you're doing that, it is a perfect example of the anguish that it takes to be a Black person on Earth. Not just in America, it's on Earth, or brown person on Earth. Every day you're met with another subjugating problem.
Yeah.
Right. How do you rest? How do you digest your food? How are you staying healthy? Because that has to be some stress that we can't even imagine.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. And so just a little bit on Alfred L. Bright was born January 9th, 1940. He passed away October 28, 2019. And Isabel was going to interview him for this, but it was a couple months before he actually ended up passing away, which I'm sure would have been even more of a great addition to have. But he was an American artist and art educator. He became the first African-American full-time faculty member at his alma mater, Youngstown State. His work can be seen in many museums, including the Butler Institute of American Art and the Canton Museum of Art. And he was obviously portrayed in this film as a kid. And those moments of her laying down next to the kid, I felt like that was powerful.
Yeah.
Her laying down next to her mom. I mean,
yeah, that depression, man.
Yeah. I saw that as passing along the trauma.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just think about it. She laid in bed with her mom. Her
Yep.
mom transitioned. Next thing you know, she's laying in bed with the kid. He ain't gonna get it, and he got to deal with it too, unless I step up and write this book.
Yeah. That was kind of her moments, because she had a lot of encouragement along the way. Her mom, she had some discouragement too. You know, some of those colleagues, but she had a lot of her cousin. So it was disappointment, but encouragement along the way. And you know, she did it. She wrote this book, and you know, the rest is history. With the film, Ava DuVernay did a great job.
I have a question for both of you guys. What were you thinking when she was in the midst of do and don't write the book?
I was thinking, well, first I think she was using her mom kind of as an excuse, and that's what the argument with her husband. But I think she knew it was going to be a lot, and she was going to have to deal with probably some trauma herself. So I don't know. I think that's what I was thinking. Is she really going to do it? Because there's a lot that you're going to have to go through. This is a journey for her as well, not just to write the book.
Yeah, I think she realized there were some things she were going to have to face that maybe it was more easier to kind of not get involved. I mean, even when she was listening to the Trayvon Martin, the tape, listening to the 911 call, and then hearing the gunshot, she knew then it was just like, oh man, like what am I getting into? Do I really want to get into this? But it may now it goes beyond this story. But in her mind, she also realized how many people don't realize it goes beyond just this moment. This has been stacking and stacking. I think she was more of like, what am I going to uncover? Do I really want to uncover this? Do I really want to take this on? Do y'all realize what you're asking me to do? Because my mind is just not going to stop at the Trayvon Martin thing. Now my mind is racing about what got us to this point.
Right.
And I think she was worried about losing herself. I guess not losing herself, but knowing she was going to fall into that. It's my research. It's my work. I got to get this done. I got to present. I got to weave stuff together. And then obviously people knew that she was going to go over the top because everybody said, make it where people can understand.
Right.
You got to write it, but you got to make it to where it's where people can know what you're talking about. Make it make sense, kind of thing. So I think she knew that, well, I'm not going to stop here. I got to go beyond how we got here. And I think she realized, you know what? I'm going to pull myself out of this depression. I realized that I can't stay here. I've seen visions of my mom. I've lost her and my husband. And now, you know, I think she's using that now. It's like, you know what? I got to press on. I got to get out of this because now somebody else is needing me. And even beyond me, somebody's going to need this information. Somebody's going to need this. They need me to speak up or help be a voice. So I felt like, there were times where she was probably like, I just know what this is going to demand for me or demand of me, you know. But I think she realized, you know what? I got to do it. I'm going to do it.
And shout out to Blair Underwood at the beginning, because he was the one that kind of planted the seed. Like, we just want you to write a piece. We just want you to write an article. And that article, when you get into and you start digging, and you get all this research and all this information, you know, it turns into a lot more.
I think she realized it, because that's why I said I think she realized it's going to become more than just what's in front of me. Now it's going to, like, I can't stop here. What brought me to this moment? I got to keep going. So, yeah.
Right. Hey, you frozen? Yeah, I think
he froze.
Yeah,
he fell asleep. Man, I'm that bored, man.
In a trance.
Yeah, I'm like, man, I didn't know I was that.
What's up, Keisha in the building? Thank you for tuning in. Yeah, appreciate you. We'll
you
bring
like somebody over $20.
He said he's asleep.
Probably would.
Yeah. But we'll get them back once we get into final thoughts and all that. But the lynching photo or that imagery too is like, man,
preparing for this is the family photo, the postcard we're taking.
Oh my gosh. You got a kid up on your shoulders like you had a baseball game, you watching fireworks, and they're all pointing up like, that's what he deserved. And that's one of the worst possible ways to die. And then somebody's looking at you like this, like in enjoyment and excitement. Like it gets no other, Oh, there you go. It's like you froze for a minute.
Yeah, did. I didn't even know I froze. I was listening.
He was looking at you. Was like, man, this dude got the stillest face ever.
Yeah, man, you don't pass out, man. You don't want to sleep on.
Got the ghost face, bro. I was like, man, this dude. But anyway, if you wanted to add on to, we were talking about the lynching photo. Yeah.
See, this goes back to the trauma. It goes back to the trauma situation when we compare traumas. We can't compare traumas. You must have empathy across the board, and when you continue to have empathy across the board, then you can resolve these issues. Pictures and things of that nature, they help, but then what people, like I said, people will go into defending themselves. When you're defending yourself, you're not gonna be listening. You're listening to destroy, not to enhance and move forward. And that's the problem. We continue to say, hey, you look at these pictures, and then somebody go, well, my grandmother was in the Holocaust, and then you got somebody from the indigenous community. Hey, well, you're on my land. Or should we just look at these pictures and go, well, the problem is we are dealing with hatred from all angles at all points. And until we learn how to deal with that hatred and that anger, we will continue to struggle as communities, and then we move forward.
Yeah. As a people, we will continue to struggle. Yeah. But that really, and that's why everybody needs to watch this. No matter who you are, you need to watch this because it. And Wilkes, I wanted to ask you on the music. I felt like the symphony style music went perfect with everything that was going on. Yeah, throughout the entire film.
It was, of course, there were some pieces I thought it sounded familiar, and I've stumbled upon some European, Afro-European French artists that have been doing some things. But I love the music. I thought the music was definitely great because it was building those moments of travel and what am I going to find? I'm getting to my destination, and with that intenseness of searching and trying to piece things together. It's like, I know I'm not crazy. I might be crazy, but I know I'm good. I know it's linked somehow. And I've said it before a few times. It's all bigger than us. It's all woven together. It links us, and people can't see it on eye level because maybe it's not meant for you to see it on eye level. You've got to go beyond that. So I love the music score. And I'm interested to go back to see what it's, and Ava DuVernay always comes off as a person to me that loves young, striving, or old artists or young artists. She seems like the kind of person that she loves that talent. She loves that young talent. She loves that older talent or resurgence of talent that, like, hey, I saw you 15, 20 years ago or whatever. This is a perfect role for you. I feel like she's good with doing things like that. So I'm curious to go back and see who she may have had or who picked the score. I did love the music, so that was all about the intensity of that. So.
Yeah, I know I didn't see them yet.
I know.
Yeah, we know.
We
know. It's all right.
Yeah.
We know.
Yeah, and I felt like in some scenes when she was doing the heavy breathing, when she was walking through some of the areas, felt like that was therapy to her because she really ended up not really having a lot of people to talk to. So that was kind of her, like, I know I'm going into this situation. Let me breathe through it.
I feel like that was fueling her. Like she was using, as A-Trap has said, she was pulling from the ancestors. She was pulling from that history I mean, even when she went to the monument, I think that was Alabama or Mississippi, where well, I think me and Ben had looked it up, but it's like she's got the pillars that were hanging from because it's supposed to represent the lynchings that went on at that time. And so I think she's pulling from that energy. She's like, what are you trying to tell me here? What do I need to use in my book? How do I honor you correctly? I don't want to misstep anything like that. So I feel like, they connect that very well. I think they reconnect that very well.
And she was flashing back on what the things her mom said and what her cousin said, and
absolutely,
So, and she was
the perfect person for that too.
Who?
Niecy Nash. She was the perfect person for that cousin.
Yeah. She did a great job.
I think she did well in that role.
Well. Yeah, I felt like they had the perfect casting in this. Even with the anthropologist, they had 2 young actors. I know one of them. I remember her from Hamilton because my daughter likes that. I don't know how you say that. But
I was like, I've never seen any of those people.
Yeah, I only knew one of the the people of that couple, but and that book again is called Deep South. If you want to find that, they really uncovered a lot. So shout out to them for going undercover, not being able to really talk to each other, moving around because people were like, "Oh no, y'all talk too good, or y'all too nosy," or But they did it, and they still were friends. So I felt like this was getting to some final thoughts here. I felt like this was really well done. Ava DuVernay again, another great film, and she's done quite a bit of high quality films, and she kind of makes me think of somebody that really takes their time when they're doing something like this and not trying to rush through it, which I don't think she rushed. I felt like it gave you everything, the good, the bad, the ugly, and a lot of what had to be dealt with. So I'm gonna go ahead and kick it off. I'm gonna give it a 5. I think it deserves a 5.
Final thoughts. What are your final thoughts? Are those your final thoughts?
Yeah, that was my final thoughts.
Okay. Who's next?
You.
Well, another. Okay. Final thoughts. I think this was an excellent piece, and it is a conversation piece. It is a position. It puts you in a position to have the uncomfortable conversation, and again, you draw from humanity versus your community. The caste system is real, and we are unlike like the Indian caste system where you're just stuck there.
Right.
This caste system is based on capitalism. So when you base it on capitalism, you have an opportunity, but you traditionally are still stuck in that same system.
Right.
So I too give it a 5, and looking forward to more Ava DuVernays. But I don't know if Ava takes her time. It's just Hollywood don't want to keep funding Ava because Ava just keep getting blackety.
Right.
She gets blacker every movie.
Every movie. You're right about that. She did Selma. She did When They See Us. 13th. Man, wow. Yeah, she
and
all the way in.
Yeah. Oh, she don't stop us there.
Yeah. All right, Wilkes.
I have to give it a 5. I mean, I had kind of the exterminate the brutes moment, but I like the way it was directed. I like like I said, the music. I was a big fan of that. Once again, Ava DuVernay, I mean, she's doing her thing. She knows how to make you think. I love how the movie also took a documentary role, because toward the end, I felt like the movie ended at one point and it picked up as a documentary the rest of the way. So I enjoyed that. I look forward to more. I hope she is doing something soon. I haven't looked at what she's got up next, but definitely love the the deep diving of this, because it's even used in the medieval period. Like I said, most times the noble people of the city can't just go into the gates of the kingdom. If you notice, the castle is always separated from the people.
Right.
They can't just go up to the castle. They just say the king lives up on the hill, or the noble family lives up on the hill. Like, they can't just wander. So that system it's stacked.
Yeah.
So it's definitely something that exists. And it's one thing where it's like, I'm glad they dove into this. Those that were on her team and willing to tackle this. And it looks like, and honestly, it's felt like something she was willing to bring a long time ago. I just felt like there was a lot that she had used here. So yeah, I enjoyed it. I give it a 5. I love the deep dive. I love the fact that she wasn't just in the United States getting answers. She had the world abroad traveling,
right,
and meeting those roadblocks to make her, you know what? I don't care what they're saying. I know it's more to it. I'm gonna keep pressing.
Right.
So
right. Keep running. Yeah, keep running to the end of the story. And so if you're watching and you've never heard of Dalits, look it up or watch this, because it is it is wild that a person is doing that while somebody's also sitting on the toilet, or whatever they call it over there. Stone toilets. Yeah. I mean, it's wild. And showing that on film, I think another part of Ava DuVernay is she's not afraid to show the nastiest of all parts and show you what it looks like, or what
honestly, I don't even think those were actors. I think that was a real life movie.
Yeah.
And that's sewage.
Yeah.
That was disgusting.
That was beyond.
I don't think that was reenactment. I think that was, I'm gonna film you for a day and what you're actually doing.
Yeah. We're gonna use
and I've heard someplace. Oh, yeah. No, I don't want to talk about that. That's disgusting.
Yeah. All right. So next week, Beverly Hills Cop Axel F will see what this is gonna look like.
I'm worried, but I hope it goes well.
I hope it goes well. Yes, please.
I think it's gonna.
Think it's gonna hold it.
I mean, I'm Eddie Murphy.
I know you're Eddie. You're an Eddie guy. I'm an Eddie guy too. But if it's like Coming to America 2, which I don't think it's gonna be, because it's not gonna be singing and all of that. It's good. You as long as they got a good storyline and keep people laughing, I think. But Eddie got this. I don't know. He got that Adam Sandler deal, because Adam Sandler got like a 10. He probably had like a 10 movie deal. Adam Sandler was coming out with movies every month. And Eddie kind of got. He had Dolomite. He got this. He had.
That was good though. Dolomite was good.
Okay. Yeah.
Pretty
good. He's had quite a few. So.
Dolomite. But see, they cheated us though. They gave us You People as an Eddie Murphy movie. That is not an Eddie Murphy movie.
Yeah, of course. It was probably dubbed as his film, though. Maybe he produced it, or he was an executive.
Yeah, because that's a Jonah, what's his name movie?
Right, Jonah Hill. Yeah, really, Jonah Hill and Laura London.
Yeah, Laura London. That was not an Eddie Murphy movie. They lied with that. That was to get black people to look at that movie.
Right, it worked.
Right,
it worked.
Because I feel like he took the back. You can tell he took the back seat in that movie.
Yeah, he was in, I don't know, probably a handful of scenes, really.
Yeah.
None of them was by himself. It was all with Jonah or
Mike Epps.
Right.
Neil he could have been a bus driver in the movie, and they would have kept putting his picture on the thumbnail.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. And then that movie, he had that whack Christmas movie.
Oh, I didn't even watch that.
That was horrible. Good.
I didn't even watch it. What was it called? Like
Saint? I don't think I watched.
I don't
Saint Nick or
something. It was horrible.
I don't think I watched it.
Yeah, I didn't even attempt. But what's coming up tomorrow on the End of the Bench?
It's called social and anti-social media. Talk about how the effects of social media has on the general public today. It has gone from a way to connect to a way to separate us.
Facts. I 100% agree on that. Make sure to tune in tomorrow, 6 p.m. Central, the End of the Bench Media. And also, there's a documentary. I don't remember what it's called, but it's on Netflix, and it talks about how whatever you watch, basically, we all know by now, the algorithm it keeps showing you that same stuff. So you just keep looking at it.
Right. Unless it's Country Wayne, because I'll be watching a lot of Country Wayne videos on YouTube, and they be giving me all type of trash that ain't got nothing to do with my man Country Wayne.
Yeah. And YouTube is a rabbit hole, man. YouTube, you could be.
Yeah, once you get started on YouTube, that's a wrap.
Yeah, it'll be an hour. You looking, scrolling.
Not when you watch a Country Wayne. I'm mad because he got
like 1 minute. Most of his videos like 1 minute, aren't they?
No, he got like a series now, man. He has a full-blown television show broken up into pieces, like it's Mike and his little family, Ro and her little family, Rafi and his little family, D and his little family, and they all interwoven into the Little Wayne universe. I mean, Country Wayne, Littleverse.
Country Wayne. And he got a stand-up. I haven't watched it. I don't know if you watched it.
It's warm.
Yeah. It's hard to do an hour, especially when you're more used to doing like small snippets of stuff.
He's good at it. He's good at it, but I've seen him be funnier.
Yeah. And I don't know. Netflix is a different stage. Maybe that's what it was.
Yeah.
But as long as it wasn't at 85 South with
no. It was just a C performance. That's all.
Okay.
Yeah. I've seen him do some A+ work, and that Netflix. What it was an inculcation of all of his work.
Okay. So he did like a summary of.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
MC say she watched Country Wayne too.
Oh yeah.
Oh, it's cool, man. It's shot on a iPhone.
Right.
It's very low budget.
Got straight to it.
It's cool. That ratio 9:16. I think ratio is what it is.
Yeah.
The TikTok and the Reels.
Yeah.
I mean, they still killing it, man. That whole era of comedy, which I guess we would say.
It ain't gonna stop no time soon.
Yeah. The early 2010s with Vine and all of that. Now to this point, you make a living off of just doing Reels.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. All right, so tomorrow there will not be a Queen 3 and King. Obviously, Doc is Island Doc right now, so it'll be a replay of a previous Queen 3 and King, so you can still check that out tomorrow at 7. And let's get to some last comments. He said, "This truck is killing me." She said, "I said F it." Oh man, well.
Hey, get out of the truck.
It says she was cleaning the truck.
Cleaning the truck?
I bet you are probably tired. Yeah.
That's tired, boss.
Yeah, and it's probably hot too.
Yeah.
Wherever you are. You're in the South somewhere, so it's probably 90 degrees right now still. Yeah. But thank you everybody for tuning in. We'll be back next week with another great episode. Doc should be back, so no longer Island Doc. Should be back to regular Doc. She said, "I've been watching it." Yeah, and we've been on for an hour and 30 minutes. So
yeah, you've been working. You've been working.
You a vehicle cleaning sister.
You don't take your break. It's hot. I'm in Alabama.
Yeah, go and take your break.
It's probably, I don't know what the temperature is, but I'm sure it's probably 85 to 90 degrees right now.
Yeah.
So
it's probably hotter than elephant thighs. Yeah, go and take your break.
Oh my God, I'm out.
Elephant thighs. Yeah. All right, A-Trap, go ahead and close us out.
Oh, if I owe you something, I ain't got it. And if you need it, get it from Dog. And don't get swallowed.
Him upstairs.